Book review: The Mysterious Bakery on Rue Paris by Evie Woods, an enchanting and escapist novel for 2025. Evie Woods, author of the internationally best-selling The Lost Bookshop, returns with another spellbinding literary journey in The Mysterious Bakery on Rue Paris. This 2025 release delivers a sumptuous blend of magical realism, emotional depth, and cultural charm. It's a story that beckons readers into quaint Parisian errand, where secrets rise like dough and healing begins with warm slice of brioche. Woods' hallmark style, seamless mixture of whimsy and real-world sorrow, finds perfect home in this heartwarming, character-driven tale. While The Lost Bookshop paid homage to the enduring power of literature, The Mysterious Bakery on Rue Paris centers itself around the healing magic of food, memory, and second chances, served with side of supernatural intrigue. Plot summary: Evie Woods, acclaimed author of The Lost Bookshop, returns with The Mysterious Bakery on Rue Paris. Warm, whimsical, and emotionally resonant tale set in the hidden corners of Paris, infused with gentle, magical realism and heartfelt themes of grief, belonging, and rediscovery. The novel follows a woman whose unexpected inheritance opens the door to a secret legacy and a second chance at life. At the center of the story is Eloise, Ellie Martin, recently divorced woman in her 30s who has drifted through life in Dublin, burdened by grief and profound sense of disconnection. When she learns that she has inherited an apartment in Paris from grandmother she never knew, Ellie is stunned. Her mother, now deceased, had never spoken of her French family, let alone mysterious bakery hidden beneath an old building on Rue Paris. Intrigued and at crossroads in her life, Ellie decides to leave behind a job and the ruins of her old relationship to travel to France. Upon arrival, she discovers charming but decaying apartment and more. Astonishingly, a long-abandoned bakery in the building's basement. The place seems frozen in time. Antique baking tools, faded recipe cards, and the lingering scent of spices long embedded in the walls. It's clear that this was one special place and that her grandmother, Marguerite Martin, had secrets buried within it. The bakery holds an air of mystery. Its oven appears to light by itself, and when Ellie bakes using one of Marguerite's original recipes, strange happens. The pastries she makes seem to evoke powerful emotions in those who eat them, as if they are tied to memories or long-lost feelings. Is it magic, or is it something deeper? Something baked into the legacy of the women who came before her? As Ellie sets about renovating both the apartment and the bakery, she's drawn into a world she never knew she was missing. With the help of Madame Blanche, wise and somewhat eccentric neighbor who knew Marguerite well, Ellie begins to uncover fragments of her grandmother's life. Letters, journals, and recipes that hint at love affair during the Second World War and heartbreaking separation that shaped the lives of generations. She also meets Julian, charming, emotionally reserved bookseller who lives and works nearby, as the two form tentative friendship, and possibly something more. Julian helps Ellie translate her grandmother's letters and decode the historical puzzle at the center of Marguerite's past. Through this process, Ellie slowly begins to understand not only her family history, but also the lingering pain her mother carried and why it was never spoken of. Another important presence in the novel is Anna, a fiery teenage girl with natural talent for baking who becomes Ellie's apprentice of sorts. Their bond becomes symbol of the intergenerational healing that defines the novel. While Ellie learns from the past, she also begins to shape future that's not her own. Throughout the story, the bakery becomes a powerful symbol, not only of legacy and nourishment, but also of reclamation. It's a place where Ellie can honor the women who came before her while building something new. As she restores the bakery to working condition and begins selling pastries to locals, the Rue Paris comes alive with community connection and transformation. The past and present merge in unexpected ways, and Ellie discovers that home is not always where you're born, but where your soul feels fed. The narrative blends realism with gentle touches of magic, particularly in the way the pastries seem to stir hidden emotions. These magical elements are never or over-explained, which adds to the story's sense of wonder and emotional depth. In the final chapters, Ellie hosts reopening of the bakery that brings together all the threads of the story. Old secrets, new beginnings, and the reaffirmation that love in all its forms is what ultimately binds us. The ending is hopeful without being overly tidy, allowing Ellie to step into a new chapter of her life with clarity, courage, and heart. Setting: Paris as a character. One of the standout aspects of the novel is its immersive setting. Paris, particularly the lesser-known Rue Paris, is rendered with rich sensory detail that makes the city feel like a living, breathing character. Woods avoids the usual tourist-laden landmarks and instead crafts an almost enchanted version of Paris, full of tucked-away alleys, crumbling courtyards, and locals who know far more than they let on. The bakery itself, behind an ivy-clad facade, is described in luscious, almost otherworldly terms. Readers can practically smell the cardamom and cinnamon wafting off the pages. The decor is old-fashioned with hand-painted tiles, worn wooden counters, and clock that never quite keeps time, adding to the sense that this place exists both in and out of the present moment. What makes the setting particularly compelling is its fluid relationship with time. The Rue de Paris, and especially the bakery, seem suspended in a magical liminality. Woods allows the city to be both a place of refuge and of reckoning, a stage for transformation. The setting, then, is not just where the story takes place. It is a catalyst for the story itself. Characters, richly layered and deeply human at the heart of the mysterious bakery on Rue de Paris. Protagonist Eloise. Nellie Martin, mid-30s Irish woman who arrives in Paris carrying the emotional baggage of crumbled life. Recently divorced and reeling from the death of her estranged mother, Ellie inherits dilapidated apartment from mysterious French grandmother she never knew. In the apartment's basement, she discovers the titular bakery, shuttered for decades, but somehow still faintly scented with sugar and secrets. Ellie is quintessential Woods' heroine. Wounded but not broken, curious but hesitant, resilient in the quietest of ways, Woods renders her inner turmoil with compassion and nuance, showing us how grief, regret, and longing can coexist with moments of wonder and discovery. The supporting cast is equally well drawn. There's Madame Blanche, the elderly neighbor who seems to know more about the bakery than she admits. Julien, the charming but secretive antique book with a tragic past of his own. And Anais, teenage aspiring pastry chef whose brashness hides deep vulnerability each character serves. Narrative purpose, but also stanzas, a fully realized individual. Relationships evolve organically with dialogue that feels authentic and emotions that resonate. Of particular note is the character of Marguerite, Ellie's grandmother, who appears in letters, old recipes, and ghostly whispers. Rather than simply functioning as a backstory device, Marguerite's presence is integral to the narrative's unfolding mystery and emotional resolution. Woods does a marvelous job of weaving past and present through Marguerite's story, enriching Ellie's journey while deepening the reader's emotional investment. Plot and pacing. The gentle unfolding. Woods opts for a slow burn narrative which might test the patience of readers seeking dramatic twists, but rewards those who appreciate emotional depth and atmospheric storytelling. The plot begins simply enough. An inheritance, reluctant relocation, but unfurls with delicate complexity. Ellie's renovation of the bakery is mirrored by her own emotional repair, a literary technique that could feel heavy-handed in lesser hands, but here feels seamless and satisfying. Series of mysterious letters and old journal entries lead Ellie on breadcrumb trails, sometimes literally, through Marguerite's past. These epistolary elements are woven into the narrative in a way that feels organic, not gimmicky. They serve to enhance both the plot and its emotional stakes, though the novel has elements of magical realism. Bread that seems to bring back memories, an oven that lights itself, spectral voices in the early morning. Woods keeps the magic grounded in emotional truth. Rather than becoming fantastical, these moments serve as metaphors for healing, intergenerational connection, and the ineffable nature of grief and love themes. Nourishment, legacy, and the magic of the everyday. The themes in the mysterious bakery on Rue de Paris are robust and lovingly explored. At the center is the idea of nourishment, not just physical sustenance, but emotional, familial, and spiritual. Nourishment. Baking becomes a ritual of reclamation, a means for Ellie to reconnect with a lineage she never knew and a culture she had lost touch with. There's also a strong theme of legacy, particularly maternal legacy. What do we inherit from those who came before us? How do we reckon with the parts of ourselves shaped by people we never met? Ellie's journey to understand her grandmother becomes a mirror through which she learns to understand herself. Woods also touches on themes of community and connection. The reopening of the bakery brings together a disparate group of people who, like Ellie, are searching for something. Belonging, forgiveness. Fresh start. Through the communal act of baking and breaking bread, old wounds are soothed and new relationships are kindled. A subtler but equally powerful theme is the magic of the everyday. Woods has a gift for finding wonder in ordinary things. Cup of coffee, handwritten recipe, the hush of Paris morning. The novel suggests that magic doesn't have to be loud or obvious to be real. Sometimes it's in the simple act of offering kindness or in loaf of bread shared between strangers. Narrative voice and prose style. Lyrical and lush. Evie Woods writes with a lyrical painterly style that delights in the tactile and the sensory. Descriptions of food are particularly vivid. One can feel the flaky layers of a croissant, hear the crackle of a cooling loaf, taste the hint of orange blossom in a madeleine, but this isn't food writing for its own sake. It's evocative, purposeful, and always tied to emotion. The narrative is primarily from Ellie's perspective, but there are interspersed flashbacks to Marguerite's life, presented in slightly different tone, more poetic, more shadowed by history. This duality gives the book both weight and lightness. While Ellie's voice is contemporary and riot, Marguerite's entries are tinged with longing and loss, painting a picture of wartime Paris and forbidden love. Woods also has a knack for dialogue. Conversations are crisp and layered, often revealing more than the characters intend. Moments of silence are used as effectively as speech, and emotional beats land with quiet power rather than melodrama. Emotional impact. Comforting, cathartic, and hopeful. Ultimately, The Mysterious Bakery on Rue Paris is a book about transformation. It's about turning sorrow into sweetness, estrangement into understanding, and emptiness. Abundance. Woods doesn't shy away from pain. There are scenes of aching loneliness, of betrayal, of hard truths. But she never leaves the reader in despair. The emotional arc is one of healing, and it's executed with grace and honesty. Readers who have experienced loss, familial estrangement, or the search for purpose will find much to connect with here. There's catharsis in Ellie's journey that feels both personal and universal. Woods also offers moments of genuine joy. Unexpected laughter, tender romance, the satisfaction of loaf well baked. These moments prevent the book from becoming overly sentimental and instead make it celebration of resilience and rediscovery. Conclusion. Deliciously satisfying read. The Mysterious Bakery on Rue Paris' triumph of cozy storytelling, emotional depth, and lyrical prose. Evie Woods once again proves herself master of quiet magic, crafting characters and settings that feel as real as they are enchanted. This is novel to be savored slowly like a favorite pastry and shared with others who appreciate stories about the redemptive power of food, memory, and love. Fans of The Lost Bookshop, Sarah Addison Allen, Jenny Colgan, and Joanne Harris will find much to adore here. But even newcomers to Woods' work will be enchanted by the rich textures and emotional honesty that infuse every page. As escapist fiction goes, this is one of the most grounded, generous, and nourishing books. 2025.